So today I built my own musical instrument with an Arduino that plays sound with only my hand. Basically I'm going to use an ultrasonic sensor to determine the pitch that the buzzer will produce. Because it's a bit basic, I'm going to throw my own spin on it, so I'm going to use a joystick to add more features and just playing a scale. You can see here, I'm going to use a breadboard, I have some LEDs, some resistors, a joystick of course, a buzzer, and Arduino. And an ultrasonic sensor. Yeah, so basically I'm just wiring everything. The ultrasonic sensor has like 4 things you have to wire. So I think it was like trig, echo, ground, and power. So I just like put everything together, yeah. So I left out one of the joystick functions because I just won't use it. I think it was like the up and down that I won't use. I'm only using the left and right. Now I'm connecting the LEDs. I did the first 2 right, but for some reason I like messed up the second. Actually, I messed up that 3rd and 4th one, as you can see. Right here, I forgot to put the resistors for some reason. I just completely messed it up. It's fine, I'll fix it later on. Honestly, the wiring's not that complicated, even though there's a lot of wires. It's just like really simple stuff, like, you know, the ground and power for the LEDs, connecting the pins to stuff. The buzzer, for some reason the buzzer is like kind of weird, but yeah. As soon as here I realized I messed up, so I just put the resistor and the LED, and yeah, I finished after that. Now we're going to move on to the code in Arduino IDE. First, I'm going to define all the pins. So as you can see, I did everything right here. There's more of a list, so I don't have to type out every single one. As you can see, if I hover over them, basically it tells you what this does. These are all the pin numbers I put, so 4, 5, 6, and 7 of course. Next, we're going to define our max and min distance for the ultrasonic sensor. So we're going to do min distance, and which is 5, and then we're gonna do max distance, which will be 50. I'm gonna do another list like this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add a bunch of numbers. These will basically correspond to like the pitches. You guys don't really need to know this. I just took this from the internet, so I don't really know them myself. I'm gonna add something called the pentatonic scale, which is kind of sounds like Chinese, which you'll see. So next, I'm gonna add some code for button debounce. I'm gonna start the void setup. So I'm gonna type void setup. This will basically run before everything, before the void loop. Of course, we gotta use the serial monitor, so we're gonna do serial begin 600. Now we gotta activate all the pins. Remember right here, I wrote a list for the LED pins. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a for loop because I did them in a list. So I'm gonna int I. Now what I'm gonna do is print that everything's ready. So I'm just gonna write serial print, which will print in the serial monitor. Instrument ready. So right here, this is everything. Instrument ready, joystick left, note mode, joystick center right, smooth mode, and then joystick press will be changing the scale. And moving on to the main loop, of course I need to start with the void loop. This. Before I do the loop, I'm going to define some functions. So I'm going to float read distance. As you can see right here, basically what it does is it calculates the distance, or it reads the distance. This is the speed of sound in, I think, centimeters per millisecond or something. And we gotta divide it by 2 because the ultrasonic sensor basically reads from the object back to what sensor is at. Well, it makes one full round trip, so you have to divide it by 2 to find only the distance. Now for the scales, we need to do a guess scale length. I'm gonna write out the code for the joystick buttons. This basically reads when the joystick button is pressed, and then it will activate the scale and it will change it to a different number. Next we have some simple LED code to turn it on and off. And yeah, this is all the code that we're gonna use.